Let me start, Mr. Secretary, by thanking you for your support and your hard work as we push through the bipartisan Multi-Employer Pension Reform Act in the closing days, literally, of 2014 in December. I think that that action has helped secure the retirement of millions of workers and retirees, and you and the rest of the administration were instrumental in its passage. Our work is far from over. As the administration noted in its budget, further reform is needed to strengthen the finances of the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, which you chair. We share the administration's commitment to ensuring that this important federal backstop is well funded, but we need to do even more. So I'm committed to working with you and Treasury Secretary Lew, Ranking Member Scott, and others to reach an agreement on a package of reforms that will shore up PBGC and give employers and workers options for new benefit plans such as composite plans. So I'm committing to you and to my colleagues here that I'm fully engaged in trying to get this done, but time is growing short. So I'm asking for your commitment, sir, to working with us to try to get these reforms finished this year.
You know, we've had a number of conversations both with you and with Leader Pelosi and over at the White House and at the PBGC, and we have a team of folks that have already been engaged bicamerally and bipartisan way to address these issues. As you know, the multi-employer pension system at the PBGC is in the red in a big way, and we recognize that there are many tough decisions to be made, and we commit to building a big table so that we can have and continue the dialogue that we have been undertaking.
And I appreciate that, and I absolutely take you at your word. Just a reminder to all of us, this has to be a bipartisan effort, and we have to get with the program, as they say, because we're running out of time and be ashamed to start all over. On another subject, we are looking at the joint employer policies and discussions surrounding them that are coming from your department and from other agencies. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has filed an amicus brief with the National Labor Relations Board and the Browning-Ferris, supporting a broader definition of joint employer. Wage and hour in your department is engaged. I think the actions within your department, as well as those taken by the NLRB and the EOC, demonstrate that the administration is aggressively trying to expand the definition of joint employer across all labor and employment laws, and frankly without concern for the negative impact on the franchise model that has served us so well. I'm greatly concerned by the likely impact of these efforts on workers and their employers, particularly smaller businesses. Can you explain DOL's role in what seems to be the administration's concerted efforts to expand the definition of joint employer?
I would respectfully disagree that we've been attempting to expand the definition of joint employer. We have been applying joint employer both in the OSHA context and in the wage and hour context when the facts so support. So, for instance, we had a case involving a gentleman named Daquan Davis. He completed his Job Corps program. He got a job at Bacardi Rum down in Florida. His first day on the job was his only day on the job because he was so ill-trained by the company. There was a job service through which he got the job. He was so ill-trained that he literally died on the job day one. And our investigation in that case showed that both the staffing agency that placed him and the company that where he died on their assembly line that day bore responsibility. So those were the facts in that case.
Well, I'm sure that
we follow the facts and where the facts lead us.
That is it's kind of a scary story, and one we don't like to hear. But I can tell you that there is a great deal of concern in the business community by franchisors and franchisees that it looks like that there is an expansion of that definition. I understand the Wage and Hour Division requested a 22% increase in its budget, the largest increase within your department, and proposes to hire 300 full-time employees to develop, quote, corporate and enterprise-wide, close quote, enforcement. What is meant by corporate and enterprise-wide enforcement?
Well, the Wage and Hour Division has a very critical mandate, and their mandate is to make sure that when you work a full day, you get paid a full day wage. We had a study conducted recently just in 2 states that showed that the amount of wage theft was $1 billion alone in the state of California and New York. Wage theft is a huge problem in this country. The Wage and Hour Division has worked very carefully, and by the way, very closely with employers, because we get complaints frequently from employers about the fact that other employers are misclassifying employees, and it creates an unlevel playing field because they can't compete for contracts when you have someone else cheating, which is why we have memoranda of understanding with 29 states ranging from Utah, Texas, Arizona to Massachusetts as well. So I believe firmly in the work of the Wage and Hour Division, and we work very collaboratively and when necessary.